Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Women's Facebook live chat on Tuesday night. And we're going to spend just a couple of minutes. We're just getting on, but we're going to spend a couple of minutes sharing and letting folks know we are here. We hope that you'll do the same. This is Real Women's Facebook live chat. We're here every single Tuesday night. And we are here with really good conversation. We give you a sneak peek into what it's like to be in a real women's session where it's just women talking about real stuff that we deal with. And so we invite you to join us. And more than anything, we invite you to share this out with somebody. Let somebody know, especially listen, this is one of those times where we're going to be talking about how life story has come alive and has become the catalyst to help other people. And so if you know anybody who feels like they're overwhelmed, drowning in their own stuff, and they need some support, this is the live you want to share with them. In addition to that, maybe they've been trying to figure out how to use all of their stuff, all of their baggage, all of their mess to be a blessing to somebody else. This is also the place you want to direct them today. So come on in and let's get some folks interested in tonight's conversation. As you know, this is not just a one-way conversation. We are going to engage with you. And so we hope if you're not driving, because if you're driving, we just want you to focus, okay? We just want you to but we would love for you to be a part of this conversation if you are able to do so. We've got more folks coming in. Say hello to us. Hey, Robin. Hey, Addie. Come on in. Thank you all so much for joining us. So looking forward to this conversation. And I want to go ahead and officially start. My name is Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women. We exist to create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. And we do that through sister circles. We host monthly sister circles. We do it in person in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas. Every single Saturday, except for fifth Saturdays, you can find us meeting in person in a sister circle environment. On first Saturdays, we are in Charles County, Maryland. On second Saturdays, we are in Prince George's County, Maryland. On third Saturdays, we are in Northern Virginia. And on fourth Saturdays, we are in Baltimore, Maryland, and Hampton Roads, Virginia. And we also have a virtual young adult Real Women community. And so you can see we have a lot of circles already formed in just the brief time that we've been a 501c3. But the goal of Real Women, the ultimate mission, is to make sure that every woman has access to a safe space and a circle of sisters. So we're not just stopping with the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. We are coming to an area near you. The first way that we're coming is virtually. We have an all-access membership that you can join right now, no matter where you live in the country. You can go to realwomenrock.org, again, realwomenrock.org, and go to work with us, and you will find how to become an all-access member. Being an all-access member with us affords you tons of benefits, and we would absolutely love for you to check us out there. You literally get to come to all of our in-person sessions if you're nearby. There's a virtual monthly sister circle, so you don't have to be nearby to get some sisterhood and a sister circle. And there are organizations and businesses that are giving discounts to our members. We also have a personal development institute that houses webinars and workshops that are virtual and that are accessible to you any time of day because they're recorded just for you. Tons of benefits. You just want to go to realwomenrock.org to check us out. If nothing else, just go there to become a virtual member so that you can receive our emails. We would love for you to join our virtual community. All right. So we thank you for that. We're going to give you a couple more announcements at the end, but we want to jump right in. It looks like we've got some other folks on. Hello, real women and others and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I'm looking so forward to this conversation because Jackie and I are in community together in a couple of different ways. And I have so enjoyed, we don't have to see each other or talk to each other often because we just kind of pick up where we leave off and we're good. And I have so enjoyed the work that she does. And I've had the opportunity to read about her. I've had the opportunity to hear her speak and to be in community with her. And I'm letting you know right now, you are in for a treat. We're going to be talking about your journey, my journey, our journey, and how you can literally move from quicksand to walking on water. We are not playing tonight, okay? And so I just want you to get to know JC Gardner because I want you to know how incredible she is. I've told you how I know her personally, but Jackie, would you mind sharing with the folks a little bit about you professionally as well as personally? Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here on this platform. It truly is a blessing. I hope everyone can hear me well. But as she said, I am Jackie, or also known as JC Gardner. I am a mother of 2 adult children, very successful, and I am a wife. I've been married for over 33 years.
Wow. Hold on. Stop. Pause. That doesn't happen often. Slow down. Rewind. You've been married for how long? How long?
That's right. The 3-3 is up in the house. It was 33 years on October 11th. So amen for my husband holding me down, and we still together. We met in college and we still together after 33 years. It is possible. It is doable. It takes work, compromise, work, compromise, and commitment, but it is doable, ladies and gentlemen. You can do it. You just got to want to put the work in. That's all there is to it. Work and faith and prayer. Oh, yes, Lord Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, but listen, JC, I've been married for 20 years. I'm really behind you. I'm way behind you. But when you start getting into those double digits, that's serious. When you start getting into decades, that's serious. And,
yes.
and I commend you. Absolutely. And thank you, because we might have to bring you on just to have a marriage one of these.
We need an hour. Okay.
Absolutely.
So by day, I am a national advisor. I work for International Faith-Based Nonprofit, and I've been there 29 years. And I tend to stay, you see, I'm sort of a commitment type person.
Faithful and dedicated, child, across the board.
Yes, but in my other life, I am a best-selling author, international speaker, and I am a writing coach and writing consultant and youth mentor.
Oh, that is beautiful. I love how you were succinct about it, but that each title in and of itself has its own weight, its own responsibilities and its own catering to different audiences. And so I'm in love with the work that you do. And I want you to talk more about it. I want to first make sure that folks in here know, and try something for me, Jackie. Try to take out your earbud out of the computer or wherever it is, out of the phone part.
Oh.
Yeah, try to take that. Yeah, try to take it out. Let me just see. Before you had it in. And talk now. No, go back. I'm sorry. All right. I was just checking to see whether it was, I asked them and it sounds like that'll work better. Okay, so I wanted folks to know all of the roles that you play, because it seems as though to me you have balanced, or I don't even like use, you have found a way to manage a lot of your giftings. you have found a way to exercise a lot of your giftings. And so you're speaking, you're an author, you're a mentor. There are just so many things. And you still commit to a 9 to 5, and you still have all of these other things going. And so before I dig into your story specifically, I just want to know, how do you juggle it all? And maybe that'll be of help to somebody.
Okay, so the main thing about juggling all of this wonderfulness is that each of us allows us to be our own person.
Yeah.
Like, we give each other our own space.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, my husband and I are like night and day in a lot of ways. But then in other ways, we are like two peas in a pod.
Mm.
And we don't like inhibit each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if he knows that I like speaking and writing and going out and instructing youth, and he knows that's my thing, he's like, go for it, baby. That kind of thing.
That's
And
beautiful.
if I know that he likes going out on his boat on the water, or he likes to go and hang out with his boys, I'm like, go for it, baby.
That is
So
beautiful.
it's not like we're going to infringe on each other's territory, so to speak, because we know that, first of all, it's a lot of trust. It's a tremendous amount of trust that goes into that when you're saying, go ahead, do what you do you, baby. I got you, do you. And when he says to me, do you, we both know what that means. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a mutual respect, it's a mutual understanding, and we allow each other to have our own space. Because I think sometimes in relationships, of course, initially, we always trying to change the person to be who we want them to be. You know how that works out, right?
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
Yeah, that don't work out too good. That don't work out too good. So once you see that is not going to work, so then you have to be like, you know what? I married you for a reason. You married me for a reason, and I'm going to accept you where you are, and vice versa. It has to be two ways. So that really allows me to be me. I am a night person for the most part. I do a lot of things late at night. He might do things early in the day, but we balance each other out in that regard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that's
really and
yeah, I was going to say, I think that's beautiful, because what I think you're telling me is, when we are in a relationship, married for 3 months or 33 years, that we want to still maintain our identity and the things that we love to do.
Yes.
And when you're married to someone or in relationship with someone, you married them, you got in relationship with them with all of these wonderful things going on. So why would you want them to stop when,
right.
that's what was going on when you married them? So, and as we evolve, as all of us evolve, we should want each other to grow and evolve. So thank you for that. I wanted to dig in because I want to ask, y'all know this is a little more interactive than maybe most. I don't want you to just sit and listen to us. And even in the replay, you can put your comments in the replay. I want to find out from you, do you feel as though you have a life story that could help somebody else? Do you feel like your journey could be helpful to somebody else? Let me see the yeses or the no's. Let me see the I don't knows. Whatever your thoughts are about that, whatever your been through is, whatever I've been through is, do you feel like it could help somebody else? And I ask that while I'm transitioning into your story, Jackie, because I just love the fact that you have chosen in your talks and in your writings to share lessons learned from your own personal story. And so I'd love to start with it. Just in reading about you and having experienced you before, I love this topic that you have, from quicksand to walking on water. And I wanted you to give a little bit of background for us about where that comes from in your life and in your journey.
Okay, so for hopefully this is not a repeat for some of the people who are online, but this will be new for your listeners. And really, this is the quicksand part. Is there was a time in my life when I was drowning, where I was literally stuck in someone else's mental prison from
Mm,
something that they said I could or mostly could not do. And it stems from me being in seventh grade. I tell this story often because I tell it as often as I can because there's never a time I don't tell it and someone says, wow, that happened to
mhm,
me.
mhm,
But I want people to know and understand that things happen to us in life, in our youth, even in our adulthood, that really affect us and can definitely derail us from our destiny. So when I was in seventh grade is when I discovered at the age of 12
mhm,
that I knew that I was to be an entertaining fiction author. That was my destiny. That was my heart. I was a writer. I've been writing for so many years, Trinae. I mean,
mm,
I still have characters and people that come to me that only I can see. They have stories to tell, and that is how I craft my stories. I don't choose books, they choose me. The people
mm,
choose me. They show up randomly. It sounds crazy, but this is how I have always done my character development. They walk with me, they talk with me, I see them, I smell them, I sense them,
mm,
and I write down their story, and that is how I knew, and I've been doing this since the age of 12, that I was that my destiny, my heart's desire was to be an entertaining fiction author. So that summer, after I discovered that, it was such an awakening for me because me, the tall, lanky girl who always tried to stay in the back of the classroom, who wasn't comfortable with herself, who was quite an introvert. I know hard to believe, but it's true. who who really tried to stay out of the limelight. The discovery of the fact that I could express myself so well with the written word meant that this could blaze a path for me. This
mhm,
could go before me. What I couldn't say, the paper and the words could express. And
mm,
that to me, even at the age of 12, felt powerful. That
mm,
was like, wow, when people see my poetry, when people see my stories, then they'll know who I am because
mhm,
I had a hard time expressing it. You know what I mean? So the
mhm,
seventh grade teacher assigned a creative writing assignment, and I could not wait to show her my book of poems because, like I said, I was the quiet one, the one that always stayed out of the limelight, the introvert. And I did this book of poems, and I handed it in. And on the day that the assignments were returned, she returned mine last, and she threw it on my desk like a frisbee,
mm,
like slammed it on the desk, and she said, "I'm not grading it. You're getting a zero.
mm.
This was all plagiarized." So
Wow.
you have to understand that when you're 12, not sure of yourself, it's the 70s. You don't talk back to no teachers. Okay. There were
Right.
so many thoughts going on in my head at the time. So I remember trying to muster up something like, what? Like, what are you saying? And she told me in front of that class of 30 something students to shut up.
Mm, mm, mm,
You're getting a zero. Like you failed this assignment. Like
mm,
you have nothing else to say.
mm,
And then later on, at lunchtime, and I'm skipping a lot of parts, but because the devastation that I felt, the humiliation that I felt at that time was very catastrophic for me.
mm,
And then at lunchtime, when my classmates who were with me, they were like, they felt bad for me. And they were like, can we see the book of poems? And I slid it to them and they read it and they're like, now, girl, you memorized these from somewhere. You didn't write these.
oh my goodness.
So
Wow.
it was a double rejection, like a double whammy. And it really destroyed me from the root. I always say that there's a lot of people that are perennials. You can stomp on them and they're going to come back and show you how big and bad they are. They're going to prove themselves to you. But all of us are not that type of flower,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And when she said those hurtful words to me, and I felt all utterly humiliated in this class of 30 something students, this was supposed to be an authority figure.
Mm, mm, mm.
Someone who's supposed to nurture and encourage. This is someone who I was like, I can't wait for her to see my work. And it went a complete opposite way.
Well, can I say something real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt you, JC, but
No, please
I
do.
want to say this because what you're lifting up for me is the thought, and many of us have these. I just Sunday preached a sermon on the movie Inside Out. It's so it's a cartoon, but it's the
No,
smartest,
it's good.
powerful movie ever. And it talks a lot about core memories, and that all of us have them. We have these pivotal moments in our lives that we
Yes.
absolutely never forget. And I have a couple of questions in the chat, but I want to ask you all before I get back to those questions about just how do you use your story. I really want you all to share if you have some core pivotal moments, some core memories that if you think back, this changed my life. This made me doubt myself. This made me have confidence in myself. I will never forget the words this person said because it made me
Yes.
$1,000,000 or it hurt me deeply or a traumatic experience or a success. Those big moments, we never forget them, and they shape the kind of person and the kind of decisions that we end up making, and the person.
Absolutely.
And so you just made me think about that. So I'm wondering if you all, while she's continuing to share with us if you have a core memory that has changed your trajectory in any way. Just share a little bit of that with us in the chat. Go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, and that what you just told them is something that goes on every single minute of the day. Every time I've told this story, like I said, someone has said, "Oh my God, that happened to me," in a different way, but it happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Some were older, some happens as adults as well. It doesn't just happen to you; it happens to us as adults too. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
discount that. And the thing about it is, it can happen at any time in your life. I think people
Mm-hmm.
think, "Oh, that only happens to kids." No, no, it can happen at any point, at any time, and at anywhere, and from anybody.
Yep.
That's the other thing. Like I said, this was an authority figure, someone who should have had my back and been in my corner, but it didn't go that way. And what I
Mm-hmm.
will say, and I tell this a lot, that my mother, of course, came up to the school. She was livid. My mother was absolutely livid because I came home and I didn't even get in the door good because I was a hysterical wreck. Like I
Mm-hmm.
really believe the term today probably would have been a mini nervous breakdown because that's how bad it destroyed me. And when I hit that door and I was bawling, she was like, "Oh my God, what has happened here?" And I had to get myself together and explain it. And we went up to the school. I'm so glad she didn't get arrested. you
Mm-hmm.
know, but she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't having it. My mother wasn't having it. And when the teacher, this is key, and I want to say this too. There's so much I want to say here. But when the teacher came in, like again, I'm making a long story short. The guidance counselor said to her, "If this was math, we could understand her not doing well. But this girl has consistently, she reads above grade average. English has always been my strong suit
Mm-hmm.
all my life. So
Mm-hmm.
why would you give her a zero?"
Right.
That lady said one sentence. "I don't have to put up with this," and left the room.
Wow.
That's all she said.
Mm.
Never said another word. Never uttered another thing about it.
Did you have to
And
stay in the class?
I did,
Mm.
but she changed my grade. But what I want to say about that is, as a child, and again, this is reflecting moment. As a child, there was no closure for me.
Mm-hmm.
That was not closure for me at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Because your mom and your family and grandmama and them, they always going to tell you, "You beautiful, you great, you wonderful," even though you could be looking like a hot mess with purple orange and plaid on with your hair sticking straight up like you done stuck your finger in a sock.
Right, baby, you look so
You
beautiful.
know what I'm saying? I gotta throw some humor in there because that's who I am. But
Yeah.
they always gonna tell you that you look fantastic, that you're good, that you're great, that you're beautiful. But as a child, when she walked out that room, it still said to me, "You're not worthy."
Mm-hmm.
It still said to me, "I rejected you."
Yeah.
It still said you're not good enough. It still said you're not a writer. It still said so many things to me. And unfortunately, I carried that around. and I was drowning. That's the quicksand part. I was drowning in her pool of misaffirmations. That's where I stand. Quicksand, I don't know, for people, quicksand does exist, by the way. And when you're in quicksand, you can't get out by yourself because it continually pulls you down. And when you try to get out, it pulls you down further. So for years, that's where I stayed in that pit. And every time I thought I was coming out of it, I did not. Why? Because of fear of rejection. It was almost like my heart couldn't take another person saying to me, you didn't write that poem, you didn't write that story, you didn't write that book. Wow. So on the flip side, because it's part of my DNA, remember I told you, I know that's my destiny was. Yeah. I continued to write. I couldn't stop because the people kept showing up. All those people I told you I saw, they kept showing up repeatedly. And I would write songs and plays and stories and books and put them all in a plastic bag.
Wow.
I would put fear of sharing, and then I just, my heart, it was like my soul couldn't take it. At the time, there is a happy ending. There is a happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah, but before you get to the happy ending,
yes,
let's
for a
second. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because I believe we've had some folks to say in the chat that yes, absolutely. They believe that they have a story that would help somebody else. They said their story is still going. There are still, it's definitely more than one story. It's several stories within their lives. And then I asked, have you all ever thought about writing your story? And I got a couple of yeses, but a couple of no's. And then I asked, what about mentoring others or speaking to share your story to help others? And I wanted to lift that up. It's gotten real quiet in the chat after I asked those two things, because of what you just said, like you really, for fear, for in that moment, so you could have stayed where you were. First of all, you could have stopped writing completely. That could have just been the end of it. But I'm wondering how many of us get to the point where somebody has said something negative to us or something traumatic has happened to us, and we just stopped altogether, or we feel like you've described, we're drowning and we feel stuck. And the more we try to do it ourselves, and instead of expressing ourselves and getting help and, reaching out for help, we try to deal with it suppressed all in and of ourselves. And we just feel like we're drowning in it, and we never get out what's inside of us. And so if we are in that space, I really want to let you know, if you're in that space where you're not even worried about helping anybody yet, because you still trying to get up out of the quicksand, like you still trying to survive yourself. I really want you to slow down, JC, and just let us know how you transition from the quicksand to starting to actually share your story or put your writings out there after you kept them, boxed up somewhere for so long. How did you transition so that those who are still in that place can learn some transition?
Okay, so for me, it was an actual, very emotional come to Jesus moment. That's what it was. I hadn't spoken to an acquaintance of mine for over a year. Out of the blue, she called me. Now, I want to set the context for you all. She called me when nobody was home. That was rare at the time, for nobody to be home. It was just me in the house in the evening. And she called me, and like I said, I hadn't spoken to her for over a year. And we were having a wonderful conversation, She was telling me all about her newfound photography business, and it sounded so wonderful and good. And we was just chatting away. And all of a sudden, unexpectedly, she said, I published a book.
Wow.
And I see myself in my living room. I literally stopped walking because I was walking and talking and doing stuff like we do. And I stopped. And I said, what? And she said, oh, yeah, I published a book about photography. It's getting ready to come out. It's going to be listed. I don't even know what else she said, Trinae.
Wow.
I truly don't. I kind of zapped out. Like I had an internal zapping out moment of what? Like it was almost it was it was like I had somebody pop me in the head with a frying pan. But wait, she kept talking about the book. To this day, I don't know what she said. All I knew was I had to get off the phone. That's
Mm,
all I knew. Like I
wow.
can't talk to you no more because you done took my dream. That's
Wow.
what it was. You
Wow.
stolen. You're walking in my shoes.
Mm,
Hold up. Wait a minute. I got all these books and stuff in a plastic bag.
wow.
And you just decided you want to do it and just did it, and I didn't do it. And you're stealing my limelight. Like
Wow.
you. Even though, wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. Even though I've been in this quicksand, hold on, y'all. 30 years.
Mm,
At that point, it had been 30 years,
wow.
right? So when she said that, I hung up, and it was I wish I didn't, but I said, you know what I said to her? You know what? I gotta go. I said it like that. I am keeping it real.
Yeah.
I'm a real person. Those of you
Yes.
who know me know I'm direct and real. But at that point, I had an out of body experience,
Wow. Wow.
and I said, I gotta go. Just like
Mm,
that. She said, what? Like because it was mid sentence of who knows what she was saying.
right.
So I gotta go. Though. I got to get off this phone.
Wow.
Well, okay, click. I don't even know if we said goodbye. I
Mm,
truly don't. And
mm,
what I did was I literally started yelling, and I mean yelling at the
yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
I was like, God, you know this has been my dream to write a book. I don't understand. You know that I've been writing books
Mm,
since I was 12. How's she gonna call me up and tell me she wrote, neck move and all that snake stuff with the
mm,
Lord? Me pacing back and forth in my living room, right? I mean, I am seriously having I'm talking full blown pity party, right?
wow.
Hollering. I mean, and at this point it was the ugly cry, y'all. Why? Why? Why
Mm-hmm.
have I not written the book? I don't understand why you haven't granted the desires of my heart. Why have you not blessed me?
Mm,
You know I've been wanting to do this. And then I just carried on so pitifully until I'm not kidding. Like as I'm talking crystal clear,
wow.
he said, he said, did I tell you you could not write?
Mm, mm,
Who have you been listening to all these years? Have
wow.
you been listening to me or have you been listening to that woman?
Mm, mm,
Wow.
mm, mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It
Yeah.
was so amazingly powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember being on the floor. When I tell you I was laid out, I was completely laid out, blubbering the whole 9 yards. And
Yeah.
it was so clear when he said, who have you been listening to? And
Yeah.
then he was like, do I have your attention now?
Wow.
Like you've been running,
Mm,
and not only have you been running away from your gift and your talent,
mm,
not only have you buried it in a plastic bag,
mm,
nerve to walk under her authority.
mm.
You had nerve to follow her divine destiny for your life. When I had already set you on the path you were supposed to be on when you were 12, I already wakened all that in you. I already told you what I planted in you. I already said to you your DNA means you're deliberately not average. I already granted you this gift. You are a writer at heart. You will never stop writing, but you put your gift in a plastic bag. Why?
Yeah. Slow down. So I gotta all of us gotta catch up. So
Okay.
this is so important because I hear you saying that there is this pivotal moment where you saw someone else living out what you felt you were supposed to be doing.
Yes. Yes.
And it caused really an upset in you, right? And
Yes.
so I want to just lift this up because it's writing for somebody who's listening now or who is going to listen and maybe speaking,
Yes.
but it doesn't even have to be writing or speaking. Whatever you
Right.
feel like you have lain dormant, you have something laying dormant that you dreamt of it when you were small, when you were little, and you feel like it's too late. too much has happened. You married now, you got kids now, you got a 9 to 5, totally different now, all of those things. And maybe even you still do it just for, just for kicks. You still do people's hair every blue moon just for kicks, or, you'll still write a poem or decorate somebody's birthday party just for kicks. But you're supposed to be doing more with that thing, whatever it is.
Yes.
That,
Yes.
that this is your moment, because whether it's somebody else doing it and you get upset or you get in your feelings, as JC just described, or whether you have a God moment, and it could be literally God speaking to you, or it could be God speaking through others, like right now, letting you know that it is not too late. It is not too late. Many of us feel like we are drowning and we don't even know why. We haven't even figured out,
right.
If we would just dig up the loves that we used to have. We don't know ourselves well enough anymore to really just dig up those things. So I wanted to lift that up, because it seems like there were some really pivotal things that happened that moved you from not doing anything about it to being on the floor crying, having to do something with it.
Yes.
So what is the first step that you took? What was the first thing that you did? Because some folks just need to figure out what their first something could be, right? What did that look like?
I know this is gonna sound crazy, but the first thing I did was forgive myself. I had to actually, I mean, when I got up off that floor, it was first of all, a whole weight lifted off of me. It was like a mountain literally dissolved that I did not know I was carrying. So inside every day, I knew I was a writer, and my soul knew I was a writer. But some of us carry that invisible mountain, and it shows up in different ways. So the first thing I did was forgive myself for not following my divine destiny already laid out by God. I had to forgive that. And I will say it took me a long time to forgive that teacher, real long time. Even knowing that my steps were ordered, it still took me a while to forgive her. Okay. And then once I realized in that moment that he had his hand on me, he always had his hand on me. But once I acknowledged it, I was unstoppable.
Wow.
I took that stuff out that bag. I'm serious. I was rolling. I literally was like, okay, I get it. And I even remember saying in that moment out loud, oh, I get it now. I get it. Wow. Like all the people, I have this thing called change your testimony. All these years, I don't want to say wasted, but in a way, I squandered it. There was so much I could have been doing. So I believe that, yes, I went through something so that I could be a blessing for others. But sometimes I think the path that we take doesn't have to be as deep as it gets.
Yeah.
And I still that we still would have a testimony that we could share.
Yeah.
So for me, once I had that awakening, I literally went to my bag of material and I immediately started seeing what could I salvage, what could I make. And I was determined then. I'm like, oh, I am determined to be a published author. This is definitely going to happen because I now am free. I'm free of whatever that woman, whatever prison and quicksand that she had me in. I finally was able to release it. And a lot of it had to do with being spiritually mature. That is, I think I'm always on a spiritual maturity journey. Forever. So, a lot of it has had to do with that. Also, I almost immediately, and I'm not kidding, I almost immediately formed a book club, a book committee that is with me today. I have a strong cadre of sisterhood. Of course, my family is there as well. But
Yeah.
I formed the book committee. You know, and I told them I'm writing the book, and I'm gonna need y'all help. I'm gonna need y'all to be there with me for events. I mean, I just went
Oh,
full
that is
steam ahead. And,
beautiful.
and you know, I believe that God and was saying, well, it's about time. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Let
how
me
often
let me let me get let me jump in because that is so important what you just said. You and some folks are loving what you're sharing, that the fact that you said, to whom do you listen, who do you allow to validate you? Oh my God,
yes,
so good. Just whose voice have you been listening to all these years, right? And then Jessica said it's an awesome first step that you just named, and she acknowledges that that woman probably called you to wake you up, that God allowed her to call you to wake you up.
yes. Oh, absolutely,
As
no, absolutely.
yeah. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I wanted to interrupt you because I think this is so powerful that you got that once you got that awakening, once you got up off the floor, let's just start there.
Yeah,
Once,
yeah, girl.
once you got up off the floor, you asked God, you forgave yourself, and you started this journey of, okay, what's next, and you got around, you got a crowd of sisters around you, some support around you, and said, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I need you all support, and let's just, because there's a writer in me that has to come out, and my work has to be shared with others. We just need to talk writers talk. We need to talk book talk. We need, listen. And I think that is so important, because whatever it is we feel like we should be doing, we should be eating, sleeping, and breathing it on some level, like we should.
Yes.
With this hair, we should be reading about hair. We should be looking at videos with hair. We should be listening to podcasts of hairstylists. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, if it's singing, we should be connecting with other singers. Whatever it is, we should be connecting with others who will support us in that, and then who have information to share about it. So I love that you started that journey of, I'm determined, I'm gonna get published, and I'm gonna put some sisters around me, and we're gonna form a book club so we can talk about books. I absolutely love that. I love how no matter how we start, no matter how slow or how fast we start, when the time is winding down, it's never enough time. We just never have it. We could always talk for a whole nother hour. I'm telling you. And so, without them knowing all of the ins and outs and specifics of your story, I want them to know now you are a best-selling author. You are an international speaker. You are a youth mentor. You have all of these accolades behind your name and experiences, and you are a published author since you were 12. Your dream, and so you are a published author, but it literally has been this journey that has not been easy, and it is encouraging to hear, because it lets us know that we can do it as well. And so yes, that being connected to the right people is so important. I want you to share a couple of things. One is, any big life lesson as a result of everything you've experienced, knowing life is still not easy, but you're on the other side of at least working in your dream and working in your passion, and surviving it with a marriage intact. Child, go for it. Go ahead, child. 33 years. Just
33.
The girl been married for 33 years. Yes. So if you could give us a life lesson, if you had to say the most important thing I want you all to walk away with, what would that be? And then anything that you want to share about how people can contact you and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my God, that's so hard. One humongous life lesson is, I want to say, whatever your faith is, whatever it is, everybody has different faiths, everybody has a different faith walk. The Creator is real, okay? And He has imparted, and I believe He has given all of us special talents and gifts. And sometimes it takes a little bit to figure out what exactly it is, but that's okay. That's okay, because at some point it's going to happen, and you're going to be awakened, and people are not going to understand your journey.
Mhm.
So my lesson for today is wherever you wake up knowing you supposed to be doing something else, go get yours. You
Mm,
have
mm,
to go
mm, mm,
get yours. And I want to encourage you to take baby steps. It
mm,
doesn't mean you might even say, well, I don't have the money to do it. I can't quit my job right now.
mm,
There's so many obstacles that we face every single day. However, if you take a step, you'll be able to take another step.
right.
All it takes is just start. Like, start. I don't care. It could be the smallest thing. If
Mm,
you know that implanted in you is a gift and a talent, go for it. Do not delay. Today, tomorrow, tonight is not promised. I'm just
mm,
being
mm,
real. And I want you to know that God has your back. And there's like Dr. Trinace just said, every Saturday there's a sister group that meets. Oh
mm,
my goodness. And there's so many other organizations out here that's waiting and ready to help
mm.
you start your dream. Me included. I'm like the biggest cheerleader. So that is what I want to say. There's so much I could say, but I'm going to leave it with that.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Just start and know that
Just start.
there's something for all of us and there's something for you. So explore it and just start. I love that. How can folks get in touch with you if they want to buy your books, if they want to invite you to speak, if they want to know more about the work that you do? Where can they find you, JC?
Okay, so my website is www. It's real easy. jc-gardner.com. That's jc-gard, as in David, N as in Nancy, ER.com. And you can also email me at authorjcg, authorjcg @yahoo.com. I'm currently still accepting clients. I help people write their books. That's another one of my passions. I help people write. I write books for people. I'm a ghostwriter, and I am a writing coach. I help people finish and get their books ready for publication. That's just a passion of mine because I have to give back. I didn't only become awakened to fulfill my dream and what God has for me. It didn't all happen to me just for me to keep it in a bottle. I
Mm,
had to get out there quicksand and walk on water and bring others with me on the journey.
yeah,
So
that
that's
is
how
so
you
good.
find me.
So listen, this is a perfect way. Thank you so much to end the way we started, because we started by asking you all if you have a story that can help someone else. And if you do, and you want to get your story out there, JC is a perfect person to help
I'm
you.
ready.
And so go to jc-gardner.com so that you can find out more about the work that she does and how you can connect
Yeah.
with her, so that she can help you get your story out there. A couple of you said, no, I've never thought about writing my story and I don't feel like I'm a writer, that kind of thing. But if you know you want to share your story with someone else, she just told you she'll write for you, with you, for you. So you can't beat that with a
So true.
baseball bat. So seek her services out, at least inquire, so that you'll know
Yes.
what it entails to get it done. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for being here with us tonight. And this was so good. We just stayed a little overtime, child. It was beautiful. I so enjoyed
Thank you.
time with you. And if you all have any questions about Real Women, please visit us at realwomenrock.org. Again, that's realwomenrock.org. And we have all types of information there about our sister circles that meet every Saturday, as well as our all access membership. And we would love to connect with you just as a virtual member. If you want to receive our newsletters, go to realwomenrock.org and sign up to become a virtual member. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. We'll see you again next Tuesday with another Real Women conversation. This is your sneak peek into a real conversation with some real women. Take care. Thank you, Jackie.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.